And welcome back to Live in the Hall. We're here in the exhibit hall at the GMA's annual convention. And we are joined now by Department of Revenue Commissioner Lynn Riley, who's been on the job about 18 months now.
No, it's been about 5 months. Very new. Started in
Why
January.
I was thinking January of last year.
No.
That was my brain thinking 14 instead of 15.
Been a fast sprint
Yes,
since the beginning
yes.
of the year.
So, and you've had a lot going on in that short amount of time. The legislature did a couple bills that affect your office and your operations. And just last night you were saying you guys did some regulations for the excise tax on fireworks that the legislature passed this past session, a bill allowing the sale of fireworks in Georgia.
Correct. The state of Georgia has allowed fireworks to be sold in the past, but only low caliber, very low
The little sparkler.
Correct. Right.
Yes.
In this past session, they passed a bill that allows a lot more powerful fireworks to be sold. However, the new 5% excise tax applies to all fireworks sold, regardless of the caliber and their potency.
Okay.
So starting on Wednesday, when you might go to your store to pick up your supply for Independence Day festivities, don't be surprised. We're letting taxpayers know that they may
that there's that
likely will be charged, according to law, that additional 5% excise on top of their sales tax.
And then another bill that passed during the legislative session was a bill that few people talked about, was this transportation bill. You couldn't find anybody willing to talk about. It was actually a very large bill, and a lot of talk about that. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that kind of came at the tail end of that, the whole event, was the addition of an excise a tax for hotel rooms.
Right.
And so you guys are having to get ready for that as well, correct?
Correct. After the General Assembly sine died in the beginning of April, my folks at the Department of Revenue had to put the regulations in place to be able to administer these new revenue strategies. So we've been working hard to put together a whole infrastructure, not only the technology, but the rules and policies that folks need to abide by when if they are innkeepers or hoteliers.
Right. And what is going to be the process there? You said, I know with the fireworks, you just did the rules, and there's going to be out for 30 days for public comment?
Correct. When the Department of Revenue is charged with new programs, we develop the rules and regulations and we release them for review for a 30-day comment period.
Right.
And yesterday we went through our public hearings that are required by law, and then late in the day I signed and initiated all of these new programs.
Okay, so they're out there, but they're still taking place next Wednesday.
On Wednesday. If you purchase a firework, you'll pay an additional 5% excise.
Are you guys going to be doing any training for, say, looking at the hotel motel, any training in particular for the hotel and the hotel employees and innkeepers as far as following the rules, or is it just here it is? This is what you have to do?
Well, we've also added a very robust frequently asked questions section to our website. Mm-hmm. So we're asking folks to go there, and likely their questions will be answered.
Okay.
But they will be driven to our website to register as a hotel vendor that would collect the hotel motel fee. Or if you are receiving a permit from the state fire marshal to be eligible to sell the more highly combustible fireworks, a permit is required for that type of sale.
Regarding the $5 on the hotel motel bill, I mean, while we're here in Savannah, that doesn't apply. That starts July 1 as well?
Only for occupancies on July 1st and after.
Okay, great. So we won't be paying.
We
won't be paying that. Yeah.
Correct.
At GMA, one thing we help our members with is we help audit hotel motel tax. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be interesting, because one thing we find with the hotels, I don't think many of them, like other places, they have turnover in their staff. Right. So they don't understand. So I have this feeling there's going to be cities getting that $5 when it really should go to the state.
And you can help us in that way, because it is a new strategy, and this is a state fee, not a local hotel motel tax.
And we're prepared. We actually administer the tax for some of our cities, and we actually educate the lodging providers on their behalf. So we anticipate some questions. So it's good to know you have that frequently asked question
And
information on your website.
And we will have additional phone lines available starting next Wednesday. We hope that we aren't going to cause any issues for many of our merchants across the state,
Right.
but we will have resources available for folks to get their questions answered.
Well, and one of the things that Lou talks a lot about with our hotel motel auditing program is that establishing a culture of compliance.
Correct.
That, you don't go in and beat them over the head, and it's not a gotcha type thing. It is very much an educational, this is how you do it type thing. And I know that this is big for you as well in your office, with all the different taxes that you are responsible for collecting, is establishing that culture of compliance.
Exactly.
What are some of the things that you've been doing in the last 5 months that you've been on the job to help with that?
Well, I've actually gone out with our tax examiners to do site checks, and that will be visiting local businesses to make sure they are displaying their sales tax certificates, which is a requirement of law, and then asking them if there's any concerns that we can help them with while they're there. We've also been very fortunate that the General Assembly has provided funding for a pilot program that will allow us to do strategic sales tax and income tax audits in
great.
Georgia
Right.
to help foster that
Right.
mindset that compliance is the right thing to do.
That's great. And has that pilot program started, or
Also a July 1st launch. We've been working diligently to hire the new examiners, to have them ready and trained, and they will start on July 1st with some key targeted potential areas where we've determined there might be less than thorough compliance.
Right. Well,
July 1 is going to be a very busy day at the Department of Revenue, I can tell.
Well, we've been working hard gearing up for it, and I think that the taxpayers in Georgia will be grateful to see that these new revenue programs are ready to go and completely in the vision of the General
I think it
Assembly.
actually sounds to me like July 2nd is going to be a day where the folks at the Department of Revenue are going, because making
Absolutely.
sprinting to that July 1 deadline is, I'm sure, has been quite the stress on your staff.
Well,
but
they've been doing phenomenal work.
That's awesome.
Stepped right up to the task, realized that we had a mission to fulfill for July 1, and they've made it there.
And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention your background, both as an accountant and in local government.
Correct.
And, of course, in state government. So you come to this position with an understanding of the business aspect, the government aspect, the local government aspect. You know what the state's end game is.
Exactly.
You know how local governments operate, and as a business person and an accountant how this all comes together.
And I say sometimes that my career has gone the full circle from being in the private practice helping taxpayers, and then becoming a policy person where I was determining how tax monies were spent, and now on the administrative side making sure the revenues come in and that taxpayers are compliant so that the doors can continue to operate, or the doors stay open and the wheels keep turning on our government.
Well, that is full circle right there. It really is.
Yeah. I want to give you a little piece of wisdom that I got when I was working for Catherine Sherrington, who was the Gwinnett County Tax Commissioner for many years. Of course, we collected taxes, so we weren't always popular, but she had a mantra that she drilled into our heads, that she had a bigger responsibility to the people who paid their taxes than those that didn't.
That's a great philosophy.
And that was, when I came to GMA, some of the auditing programs we work with, that's something I really feel very passionate about is once you get everyone in compliance, it really helps the good people. And that's something a lot of people don't really think about.
For every business or taxpayer that isn't compliant with the laws in Georgia, that means the burden is shared more heavily by the rest of us.
Exactly.
So the more, if we had 100% compliance, it would reduce the burden across the state.
Right.
Great. Well, we appreciate you being here with us. We appreciate you being here at the GMA Annual Convention. I know you were in one of our policy committee meetings earlier today, and I'm sure that there was a lot of information shared there, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us.
Well, it's my pleasure. I know that we're all working for the same citizens of Georgia, and it's great to be able to partner with the local governments and make sure that everything we do is in the best mindset for our taxpayers.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And we're going to go back out into the hall with Aileen and some of our exhibitors.